Hi everybody, I'm Margaret. Welcome to Card Readings. Now I'm just going to move this a bit for you. Now the thing is, I'm going to talk about my reading school, and I think it's connected to my psychic side. So if you like it, subscribe and give thumbs up. Now you're probably thinking, what the heck, right? And this is really interesting. So if you have any comments, please pass it on because it's really interesting. So this is how it goes. As you know, I have level 2 writing, level 3 reading. So you kind of know I have a little bit of reading school, not a much, but a little bit, yeah. And it's really interesting because when I read, I have this thing called a scanner. If it's a really good book, I'll be reading something like this and using this. So what I would do, I'll turn it on. There's a little red scanner, and I will scan it across a word or a sentence, and it will read it to me, right? That's the common thing I would do. But sometimes it's really, really weird. I'm telling you, it's really weird. So this is where I like to hear your voice. So what happened one year, and I do this with a lot of books, and it depends on the context of the book and how it's written, where I could read it quite well, not 100% well, like I have like 90% of it I can read, something like that. Then other books I can't read at all, right? And that makes sense, right? I think it's just, I'm assuming that's the same with everyone. Some things, if you like the book, you don't like the book, kind of thing. It makes sense. You might read it for 5 minutes and you won't pick it up for another 2 years, yeah? That makes sense, yeah? And I agree with it. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. But the thing about this, one year, I was probably about 18 years old, I would say. And I remember sitting at home, and I loved the show Home Improvement. And if you don't know what Home Improvement is, it's a comedy show that Tim Allen does, related to 3 boys and a wife he has. It's all about, he loves his power, like to power, like how to fix a house or make a boat or fix up his station, that kind of stuff. He's into his power stuff, like anything that runs from electricity he will use, right? To a point where he's in the dishwashing machine, and he just make a big hole out of it. That's what Tim does. He one day he got glue on the table, he bent his head down, and the table's on his head. That's the kind of thing he is. And it's a comedy show, so you can just laugh at it. It's a really good show. I would highly recommend watching it. It's a funny show. So that's okay. But this guy, Tim Allen, he written 2 books. I can't remember the first book, but the second book was been called Don't Stand Too Close to Naked Man. That's what it's like, yeah? Now, these are 2 good books, alright? And I remember the very first one I got off him, I got 2 of them, reading his first one. And like I said, I got a limited reading school, but I remember reading it, and I got about, I would say, 75 to 80% understanding of it and reading it, right? So it was pretty good for me, yeah? Maybe not for you guys, but for me, as someone who has dyslexia, that's pretty good, yeah? And I thought, that was good, and I understand it all, because I could read most of it, it's fine. And I think about a year or 2 after I got this book, he brought out another book. And it's really interesting. It's the same guy, Tim Allen, he written this book. And I picked it up and started to read it, and I realised I couldn't read it at all. I could not read it. I probably got maybe 5 to 10% of it, yeah? And I thought, that's really, really weird, because it's the same writer, Tim Allen, where I could read the first one really well, but the second one I couldn't read, and I thought, that's really interesting. And that ends up with other books. Like, I got this book, as you all know, I like Medium, Alison Bechdel. I got this book, couldn't read it. Life depended on me. That's fine. So what I did, I got this scanner. And what you do, you turn it on and there's a little red scanner here. And you scan it across the word or the sentence and it would read it to you. Make sense? Yep. So that's how I've been doing that with this. So what happens, so the second time, because I love to try to read things on my own. I love the idea how your brain works, so I tried to read it on my own. It was okay. It wasn't perfect, but it was okay. So from not being able to read it at all, I got about 25 to 30% of reading it on my own. And that's okay. No, it's not perfect, but it's okay for me. So that's okay. So go out. Like I said, I like Alison. I love the show Medium. So I went out and bought this one. I would say 70-90% of it, I could read it perfectly. Same author, Alison Bechdel. Same author. Why? Interesting, isn't it? How I can just read it. Yeah. Then I got this one. Yeah. As you can see, I do like her. And I couldn't understand the book itself, the reading it in it itself. So what I did, I got the scanner, did the same thing. Still couldn't understand it. I mean, I could understand the book, the reading of it, like a column. But I did what I did with the first one, where I read it with the scanner. Then I tried to read it on my own. Nothing. Now, I find that really interesting how, from the same author, how I can read that person's book, Alison's book, and very clear, 80 to 90% of it, I can read it. But from the same author, same information, I suppose you can say, or topic, I can read the second one. Do you find that really weird? Or is it just me? I just find it really, really weird. I have tried to talk to someone called Lisa Williams. She's an aluminium. She's from London. She moved to America. You probably heard of her. And I talked to her about it, but without me thinking about it, I said to her about her because she has, I think about 4 to 5 books herself. And I have to admit, at this stage, I only read one book of hers where how she was brought up as seeing things and that, yeah, and I only read that one. And I read that one pretty well, I must admit. It was another, I say, 75 to 90% of it really well. And I can go back to it and read it, yeah. And for some reason, I said her books. So I knew she had about 3 or 4. And I should have said Tim Allen, but I did say her book. And she thinks it's more the topic. And it kind of makes sense. It's a topic. Are you interested in that topic? And I would highly say, yeah, that makes sense, right? And I understand if you don't like a topic, you won't get into it, would you? I mean, you might read the first 5 minutes of it, and you will probably won't go back to it about another year or 2. That's who we are as people. If you're not interested in it, you just don't read it or watch it, yeah? But with Alison and Tim Allen, the 2 people I like Tim's attitude, I like his personality, I like his comedy in it, yeah, I like everything about him. But it's interesting how I can read one of his books, not the other, and I find that really interesting. Same topics, same sense of humour, because it is all comedy, and I find it really interesting. But I can read I can get another book, maybe the same topic, from a different author, and I might read that really well. Then I can have another book, same topic, another different author, and I can't read that at all. And I find that really interesting. So yes, it's really interesting how I can have same authors, 3 or 4 different books, and I can read one but not the other 3, and I find that really interesting. So my things to you, I like to see what your thoughts on it. Is it just me being psychic and where I can just pick up on one book, or is it something completely different? The perfect example, when I watch, and this is because I've got the scanner for this, because I knew I can read it properly. Madison McCain's story, the mum, Kate McCain, written it. And that's really interesting because when I was reading this one, I don't know why I thought about it. I thought to myself, I wonder what would happen if the media was taken away from the story, away from the mum and dad, away from Madison. Would they still do it? And it leads into other stuff. I have it on YouTube, I think on Facebook, where if we took things away from us, like as me, if I was psychic, and I am psychic, and if you took away the media from me, would I still do it? That kind of stuff, stuff like that. And I thought that's really interesting. I didn't think much of it, but because this whole story about Madison McCain, where it's everywhere, it's on the news and in the paper, you can't turn your head and you will see a story about it, especially around her birthday time or the anniversary where she went missing. It's just there, yeah. But that's really interesting in itself, because this year I started to do this on YouTube, where I went from chapter to chapter and talk about it. But I got the same reaction from it, and I have to say, from the first book I read, it was a second-hand book, and that's okay, it's a second-hand book. And I thought to myself, what if we took the whole media away from the family, or the news, just to do it, yeah? And that was okay, and that's the whole story of what would happen if something was taken away from you. I think this is where the whole COVID-19 started, actually, where someone saw me saying all that, and it's just, so in a sense, with the COVID-19, if you want to blame anyone, you can kind of blame me for it, because I said, what if we took things away from people? Would we still do it, or would we care, kind of thing. But that's interesting, because the other book I brought up, Madison McCain's story, same author, Kate McCain, it was a brand new book, yeah. And I thought to myself, again, what if we took the media away from the family? Or what if the story wasn't there? Would people think about it? Like, if the story wasn't on the media? And this was around Madison's disappearance and her birthday time this year. And if you all heard about the story, there's a guy out there who was in prison, and I think he murdered her, yeah? It was around that time. And I remember thinking to myself, is this just the media making up stories because it's good stories related to it, or what? And to a point I thought, I might just stop this. I think this is more related to just the media making stories up. And I did stop it because of that. And another thing I heard on YouTube, I won't say the person's name, but the person had the same theory for me I had. So I just stopped it. But it was interesting, me, I got a second-hand book, same author, Kate McCain, a new book with Kate McCain, and I had the same thing came in my head. What if we took that away? Would people really still listen to it? And I find that really interesting. That's kind of how I felt with the book with Tim Allen, like the two books. One I can really read really well. Well, not really well, 80 to 90% of the time I could read it. To another book, I would say 5 to 10% I could read. So it's really interesting, isn't it? what do you think? Is it a psychic thing or is it something else? Because I find it really interesting how your brain works. It doesn't matter what it is, I just find it interesting how your brains work, and that's why I'm questioning it. Is it me, my psychic side, or is it just something else? Tell me what you think. It's really interesting. I'm telling you, like Tim Allen's book was, I would say, 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago that I read his books. And I was to this day, I find it really interesting how I can read one book almost really real to another book hardly. I couldn't got anything out of it. What do you think? It's really interesting. What do you think? Is it me just being thinking too much into it, or is it me being psychic, or is it whatever? I don't know how to explain it. What do you think? I like to hear your thoughts about it. I do find it interesting. So I'll leave it at that. If you like, subscribe, give thumbs up if you want, and stay tuned for the next episode of me being psychic and having dyslexia. So bye.